the salary increases of between 30 and 80% for Nigeria's armed forces personnel. About 250,000 personnel are to benefit from the new deal. Under the new arrangement, which becomes effective from September 1, officers above the rank of colonel will enjoy a 30% salary increase. This applies to brigadier generals, major generals, lieutenant generals, and generals. Personnel from colonel down to warrant officer will have a 50% increase, while private to staff sergeant will have an 80% increase. The pay package will increase the yearly salary bill for the country's armed forces personnel from 660 billion naira to 924 billion naira. So as a result of this salary increase, initially the wage bill, the pay package will increase yearly. For yearly 660 billion will be given, is being given to the Nigerian armed forces on a yearly basis. That's for their salary. Now that their salaries have increased, the yearly wage bill will now be 924 billion naira. So as a result of the salary increase of the armed forces personnel, which used to be 660 billion naira on a yearly basis, it will now increase to 924 billion. That is over 1 trillion. And we have over 250,000 personnel in the Nigerian army, the armed forces. All right, so President Tinubu has always praised the courage and sacrifices of members of the armed forces as they confront the scourge of banditry, kidnapping, and terrorism in some parts of the country. The president was quoted to have said that the men and women who help to keep us safe in our homes and modernize the armed forces by providing the weapons and technological tools needed to discharge their duties. Our administration believes that no nation can achieve greatness without security. We therefore remain resolute in mobilizing all military and law enforcement assets to eliminate security threats and protect the lives and property of all Nigerians. I urge our servicemen to take our gesture as a sign of our deep appreciation of the services they render to our fatherland. Together we shall prevail over the enemy's intents on destroying the fabric of our nation. That was what the president said yesterday on the approval of the salary of Nigerian armed forces. Okay, so yes, so their salary yesterday was increased. Their salary yesterday was increased from by some people. They will get, some of the officers, let me get that correctly, for some of the officers will be receiving 30% increase in their salary, while other officers will also be receiving 80% of their salary. Also others will be receiving as well some 50% of their salary, 50% increase of their salary. Okay, now let me just give some of the ranks, in fact all the ranks that are in the Nigerian army. So in the Nigerian army, this is from the lowest to the highest. Okay, from the lowest to the highest. The ranks of the Nigerian army commissioned ranks. There is second lieutenant, there is lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, the colonel, brigadier general, major general, lieutenant general, general. Nigerian Army non-commissioned officers ranks. There is, this non-commissioned officers ranks, they are not in the daily official duties of the Nigerian Army. Okay, so there is a private, lance corporal, sergeant, staff sergeant, warrant officers, master warrant officers, Army warrant officers, Nigerian. Okay, so that is that. Now, previously, a second lieutenant, previously before this increase of their salary, a second lieutenant collects nothing less than 240,000 naira on a monthly basis. Lieutenants goes home with 280,000 before the increments. Okay, have this at the back of your mind. These figures I'm reading out are before the increment. Now, the increment will take effect on September 1 next month. Now, captain collects 320,000 naira. Major in the army collects 380,000. Lieutenant colonel goes home with 420,000. Alright, excuse me please. So Lieutenant Colonel collects 420,000 on a monthly basis, Colonel 580,000, Brigadier General 750,000, Major General 1.1 million, Lieutenant General 1.9 million, and a general in the army goes home on a monthly basis with 2.5 million. So you can imagine that in all these figures, so and these people, their salary will increase by 30%. All right, the salary will increase by 30%. Some salary will increase by 50%, and also some salary will increase by 80%. Now, all right. So the percentage increase. Target frontline troops and lower cadre personnel bearing the highest burden of internal security and counter-insurgency operations. Now, for the non-commissioned officers, these are private to warrant officers. On a boni basis, monthly earnings for this rank from roughly 300,000 for a private to up to 890,000 for a warrant officer. Now, these warrant officers earlier were earning 200,000. Now their salary has now been increased. Okay, their salaries has now been increased. That is that. Now for colonel down to warrant officer, their salaries were increased by 50%. It covers mid-level commissioned and upper non-commissioned officers. From colonel down to warrant officers, their salary were increased by 50%. Okay, from colonel to warrant officers. So yeah, colonel to warrant officers. Warrant officers were those people that are collecting 170,000. Master warrant officers 210,000. Army warrant officers 230,000 from colonel. Okay, from colonel. So a colonel collects before this increment, we're collecting 580,000. So you can imagine, and if somebody is collecting 580,000, if you do the math, their salary has now been increased to 50%. So you do the math. All right. Now above the rank of colonel to general. Now who were those general? The general, general from the brigadier general. Brigadier General, Major General, Lieutenant General, and the General. Brigadier General before the increment collects 750,000 naira. A Major General before this increment goes home with 1.1 million. Okay, a Lieutenant General before this increment goes home with 1.9 million. Now a General, which is the highest rank, okay, goes home with 2.5 million on a monthly basis. Now that their salary has increased, now these people, their salary will increase by 30% because they earn higher. They earn higher than those people that were, earning 150, 170, 200 something. Okay, now this colonel to general, they earn higher, so their salary will increase by 30%. That is fair enough, because if you are in the army and you earn if you are in the army and you earn 2.5 million and your salary is increased by 30%, you do the math. If you're in the army, you earn, as a lieutenant general, you earned 1.9 million. Your salary will be, on the 1st of September, your salary will be increased by 1.9 million. If you are a major general in the army, before you earned 1.1 million. Now that when this new salary increase, which will take effect September 1, it has now been increased by 30%. So you do the math. If you're a brigadier general, you you were earning 750k, 750,000 naira, from September 1, your salary will be increased by 30%. So, listeners, you do the math. Okay. Now, excuse me. Now, for the commissioned officers, second lieutenant to general, salary range approximately 510,000 for a second lieutenant to over 1.5 million. For a brigadier general, reaching up to 4.9 million for a full general. So a full general who was earning 2.5 million, so your salary will now be up by 4.9 million. Okay, so that is the math. So it is a good thing that the president has thought it wise, to increase the salaries of our military, our armed forces. Remember, this is the army alone. This is not the navy. Okay, this is not the navy. This is the army alone. Okay, this is the army. This is not the navy or the air force. Remember that the Nigerian military comprises of the Nigerian army, the Nigerian navy, and the air force. Okay, the Nigerian army constitutes the navy. So the Nigerian military, the Nigerian military consists of the navy, the air force, and the Nigerian army. So the military is a combination of three components: navy, air force, and the army. That is the military. All right. So it is a good thing that that the president thought it wise, to increase the salaries of the armed forces personnel. The armed forces personnel. These are the armies. The armed forces personnel. These are the army. So we hope that maybe next we don't see the air forces, the navy clamoring for an increase, because most of the security activities really, is being, the burden on security activities is being rest on the armed forces. You can never find a navy being deployed to the Sambisa forest. You can never find the navy being deployed to drafted into Operation Hide and Kai, as they used to call themselves. So it is the army that are benefiting from this, and this is kudos. I commend the federal government. I commend the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for doing this. At least this will go a long way in helping families of loved ones of those who are in the Nigerian army. All right, so while the president is taking care of the armed forces, let us also have it at the back of our mind that the civil servants are there. The civil servants are also there. Okay, so let us hope that this gesture that has been extended to the armed forces personnel, this gesture will also be extended to the civil servants, those that are working for the government in the various ministries, in the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Transportation, in the Finance Ministry, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Federal Parastatals, the Ministry of Ministries and Department of Agencies. Every ministry, every worker working for the federal government, all the civil servants working for the federal government, those in the parastatals, we hope that this gesture that has been extended to the armed forces, it should also be extended to the federal workers. Not only the federal workers, but also state workers as well. Okay, because you cannot be, because they'll be looking at it. It's just like you bring 7 dogs on a round table, okay, and those 7 dogs you selected 3 or 2. Okay, you selected 2, you gave 2 food. What about the other 5? They will also demand for things now. So we hope that this increment cut across all walks in the country, because despite few, I think it was last month, the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbadabiamila, did announce that that the federal government is working on increasing workers' salary. Although we don't know how much will be increased, we don't know how much will be, we don't know the figure, the increment it will be. Just as we've seen 30% increase, 50% increase, and 80% increase. So we hope that this, this strategy, this deal, like they call it, is also extended, lavishly, on the Nigerian workers. Is extended lavishly on the Nigerian workers. So we believe Nigeria is wealthy. We believe that this country is wealthy. It is just that the mismanagement of our resources. That is why Nigerians are still poor. It is the mismanagement of our resources. Okay, that is why. And these are 250,000, officers. This is a huge workforce there in the Nigerian army, in the armed forces. 250,000, officers. Those in the hospitals. Those in the technical department. Those in the engineering department. Those in the communication department of the Nigerian army. Those. Every works, every strata. The Nigerian army. 250 workforce, strong workforce in the Nigerian army. So, like I said earlier, we hope that this gesture, cut across other segments in the country. Just the Nigerian civils, the civil servant. We hope that they also receive this lavish increment as the armed forces have received. That is our hope. Okay, that is our hope. So it is a good thing that the president has finally made the approval. All right, let me read some of the comments. Of course, Nigeria will always react. Nigeria will always have one or two things to say. This is coming from Andrew Okori. Andrew Okori said, it will be reflected in 2P27 budget. But you people think all Nigerians, come on, this is not good for on air. Police bills, month of election, increment of salary. Yes, of course. See, whether workers' salaries are increased 3 months to election, even 24 hours to election, 6 months to election, 1 year to election, the most important thing is workers' salary are increased. That is the most important thing. We should not criticize everything, all the good thing that the government is doing. Even, okay, as this is as a strategy. Yes, it's a strategy. Of course, the president wants to continue. The president wants to be re-elected. So he feels that, well, as a strategy for a re-election, I think let me extend this goodwill to the Nigerian armed forces. So, like I said earlier, the Nigerian armed forces should not be the only beneficiary. Other sectors too in the country, the civil servant, they should also be beneficiaries of this goodwill. Whether it is a day to an election, 6 months to an election, 1 year to an election, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is, at the end of the month, Nigerian armed forces personnel will smile to the bank more than they have been smiling to the bank before. Okay, so Andrew Okori, yes, you are right to criticize whatever strategy that the government is using, but hey, the most important thing is what is needed to be done has been done. All right, this is coming from Babantunde. This is what the military needs: better welfare, technology and ammunition. Then watch the boost in morale of the personnel fighting terrorism and protecting the border of the country. Perfect. This is coming from Babantunde. Perfect. While they are increasing their salary, they should also, make sure that the equipment, the weapons that they use are, state-of-the-art equipment, state-of-the-art military hardware, state-of-the-art, weapons, ammunition, state-of-the-art, so that now we in the next few months, maybe next year, we will not see videos surfacing about people that were deployed to Sambisa Forest or people that were deployed to the front line. We will not hear them complain because their salary has been increased by 80%, by 50%, by 30%. Okay, we should not, we should not, no longer should we be seeing Nigerian armed forces personnel complaining, you know, that they were sent, they were deployed to Sambisa Forest without any form of moral booster. Now that their salary has been increased, like they say, to whom much is given, much is expected. Okay, Evangelist Blessing EZZ said, "Thank you so much, Mr. President, for this laudable initiative of yours. May God bless you for standing out and increasing the forcemen salaries. We all hope it will be appreciated and applicable to all security outfits in Nigeria with time. Again, I feel so happy for the military men." You see, so when you do good, people will resonate with that good. Okay, when you do good, people will praise you for the good thing you've done. Okay, like I said earlier, like what she said, Evangelist Bless, say this should also cut across board. You know, other security outfits, you know, should also have one or two things to be happy about when they go to the bank for when they receive alerts as per salary. The Nigerian police force, we should also see an increment in their salary, and other military security agencies in the country. Jimo Haruna Adeni said, "This is very commendable, well-deserved salary increase for our beloved armed forces and personnel. They have also benefited from the large giving hearts of the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces." Omwade said, "Until they pay, because they have sacrificed a lot to this country and they deserve better salaries, housing, went back to barracks and better health care. But don't forget other paramilitary. Everyone is useful in one way or another." Thank you, sir. Of course, everyone is useful. All right, everyone is useful. So I want to believe that the military has a system whereby when it is time for your retirement, you'll be taken care of. It is a must in all government parastatals. You must have pensions. You must have you should be able to have access to health care services, health insurance. So I believe that the government will take care of this, particularly in the military. Major in minor, instead of fixing the challenges facing the country and possible solutions to insecurity, electricity, our refineries working. You are spreading about self-esteem propaganda. Well, this is coming from Adebimpe Olukayode Emmanuel. Well, Adebimpe Olukayode Emmanuel, the president is not a must that everything is fixed by the president. Even if he spent 8 years as a president, it's not a must that he must do everything. Okay, it's not a must. So that is why I've always advocated that if it is electricity that the president wants to tackle, either 4 years or 8 years of his tenure, if it is electricity, if Nigeria can be having uninterrupted power supply, and if that is what the president is able to achieve within 8 years or 4 years of his tenure, he will be commended. His name will be written in the sands of time. His name will be written in gold. If that is what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can gift Nigeria, to say that while I was president of this country, for 4 years or 8 years, while I was president, I was able to make sure that my people, have stable electricity. If that is what you can achieve, your name will be remembered for life, even generations unborn. Because why? You have impacted life while you are in office. If it is fixing the security challenge we are having in the country, getting rid of armed bandits, getting rid of terrorists, bombarding Sambisa Forest, exterminating all the enemies, all the enemy territories in this country, if it is curbing insecurity, is what the president will be able to achieve either 4 years or 8 years of his tenure. If that is the only thing he can achieve, his name will be written in the sands of time. His name will be written in gold. It is not a must that anybody that is elected will fix power, will fix insecurity, will fix infrastructure, will fix workers' welfare, will fix this, will fix that. You can't do everything in 8 years. You can't do everything in 4 years. That is what a lot of Nigerians don't understand. You can't do everything in 4 years, and that is the mistake. All the leaders that we've been having since 1999. That is the mistake they've been having. You can't fix everything while you're in office. You can't. Just pick one or two things that you assure yourself that you can bank on yourself that in the next 8 years I'll be able to fix this particular thing facing my country. And if you can do that, you've made us great. We are not asking for too much. We are not asking too much. We are not asking too much. So Nigerians that are saying that, particularly Adebimpe Olukayode, is saying that the challenge of security, insecurity, electricity, refineries, the president cannot do everything. You will be deceived. Any president that says that he will fix insecurity, any president that says that he will fix electricity, any president that says that he will fix the refinery, any president that says that he will make sure that we don't have deficit in infrastructure, that president is deceiving you. That leader who you will vote for to say that he's going to do everything under 4 years, under 8 years, they are deceiving you. You've been deceived. Okay? If it is just one thing that you've done, if it takes you 8 years, if it takes you 4 years to do those things, your name will be written in the sands of time. So that is that. Alright, let me take the last comment here. This is coming from, okay, let me take one or two. Fidel Panama Otuya says, this president is a real smart accountant. Just look at how the package was graded. Junior got more, senior got less, but everybody got more. What a leader. He transformed on his plans. Of course, yeah, like I said, it was the junior officers that got the 80%. The mid-level officers got 50%, while the most senior ranks in the Nigerian Armed Forces got 30%. So I mean, this is fair. This is justice. Okay, this is justice. You can. This is justice. All right. My last comment here this morning. Nice. Oh yeah, do the same for other security agencies. This is coming from RW Moye. Do the same for other security agencies and start implementing it this month. It's one thing to announce a salary increase and another to actually begin payments. These security personnel risk their lives for our safety. It shouldn't have taken this long in the first place. Yes, commendable. Wow. RW Monye. Yes, like they said, it will take effect September 1. So mid-September. So we don't know if when they receive alert September 1, that is when the effect will take place, or at the end of September. So September 1 is September 1, it will take effect September 1. So now the question is, the clarity here that we need to get here is that those people that will receive alerts, of course, federal governments don't receive alerts on the first day of the month. It is either second to the last week or the last week of the month. That is where they receive their salary. So by the end of September, I want to believe that it will be activated by the end of September. That is when they receive their alerts for August. Okay, you don't receive alerts that month. You receive alert for the second month. Okay, so all right. So ladies, listeners, that is how far I can go this morning here. The wake up conversation. Yes. So the federal government, President Tinubu has approved the salary increase of armed forces. All the ranks, the junior ranks had 80% of their salary increased. The senior level had their salary increased by 50%, and the most senior ranks in the armed forces had their salaries increased by 30%. All right, Lagos, that is how far I can go this morning. 10 o'clock, Bukola Olowolafe will bring us the news update at 10. This breakfast show was brought to you by Life Back Pharmacy and Stores, marketers of Ogama QS Subgel and anti-malaria medicine, and also they are the marketers of Swedish bitters. All right, thank you for listening to us. Don't go anywhere. The breakfast show has come to an end for this Wednesday edition. Tomorrow promises to be an exciting one. I'll be talking about something very, very significant, something very, very important tomorrow during the political update here on Overt Radio. All right, Lagos, thanks for listening. And those of us